Now, what we're going to look at today is actually, we're just going to focus in on Trigger 2 from Steven Slate Drums. It's on sale right now for only 49 bucks, and you can get the drum expansions for 49 bucks as well. Steven Slate Drums 5 is only like $79, I believe, and if you're upgrading, it's only $49, upgrading from 4 to 5. So like Steven Slate Drums is having a sale all this month on their drum packages. So it is definitely worth your while to get into Steven Slate Trigger. I mean, definitely SSD5, and we're gonna do some videos on working with SSD5 with programming drums and things like that, just like we did with some of the Easy Drummer stuff earlier on. We've already got our kick going, and all I'm going to do, we'll probably have to do the same thing. We'll have to adjust the gain, and we're going to have to probably make some kind of concession with the amount of low levels that we have. So we'll increase the gain, same as we did with the kicks. We'll increase the gain. We'll get that VU meter hitting around 0 at minus 18 RMS, and then we'll pop the trigger plug in onto the snare track and get that working here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of these plugins. I'm going to click on my snare, and I'm just going to click on inserts. Okay, just right click, and I'm just going to drag all of the inserts over to the snare. Now, the only problem with that is what I've done is I've also copied all of the settings. Okay, so we had trigger set up with kick samples before, and what I did was I just dragged all those kick samples over to our snare. So if I leave the mix at 100%, my kick track is going to sound just like my snare track is going to sound just like the kick track. I don't want that. I want a snare sound. Okay, so right down here, right click, and then clear slot. Okay, so now reset all of our faders within trigger back to 0, infinity, unity, sorry, infinity. I'm thinking Avengers or something. Unity setting. Okay, so we've got zeros there. And let's turn this on just by clicking our little power button right here. Okay, so we want to check what our levels are if our snares are going above our detail line here, okay? Okay, looks like we got the volume coming in, right? We've got good volume. All of our hits are above that line, which is exactly what we want. We don't want any of the extra drum kit, like the toms, hats, cymbals, things like that, getting in the way of our kicks. Okay, so those are a little low. So what I might do is I just might go like this. Okay, so if I decrease the detail, okay, that's going to give me a little more space. I got two ways of doing this, really. I could decrease the detail, so I grab all those snare hits if I know for a fact I'm not going to get anything else. Okay, or what I could do is I could leave the detail up and I can increase the volume. Okay, so if you see, if I increase the volume, now all my snare hits are way at the top. But when you increase the volume, you're increasing the volume of the entire track. So if you've got a lot of bleed coming in from other microphones that were on the kit, the toms, the hi-hats, things like that, especially the hi-hat because it's so close to the snare. If you've got a lot of bleed happening there on the snare track, then increasing the volume is also going to increase the volume of your hats and other bleed that might be happening. So what you can do is just leave the volume down, okay, and then decrease the detail. Okay, so the detail is only looking for whatever's hitting above that line. And I think that's probably going to do it for us. Okay, re-trigger, like we said again, re-trigger if you've got a lot of snare blasts maybe, or lots of rolls that you want to capture, then you would want to decrease the re-trigger. So right now 15 milliseconds is plenty for us to get all of those snare hits, even some of the flams and rolls that are happening. Okay, and then I can probably increase the detail a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to set the mix all the way to 100%. And then let's go find some snare sounds. So we got trigger library right here. Snares. Oh, what are we looking for? Do we want some Zeppelin sounding snare? We've got a whole bunch of extra here's. Okay, so the 1, 2, and 3 I'm going to grab as the first ones because those are the main mics. Okay, and then the energy and the SSDR are kind of like the bottom and the trash mic or room mic, you could say. Okay, so you can hear it cracking pretty good. So we can take the volume down a little bit. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solo each mic and just get a nice snare sound happening here with the mix. I mean, what you could do too is throw a compressor on here going in after the VU. Throw a compressor on and then just basically tame those peaks on that snare before going into trigger. I like that. Let's work with that. So now we're just going to dial the mix back a little bit. There's our source. So now that we got that, we've got kick, we've got snare. So let's put the kick and snare back together here. And let's see what we got. With trigger. Without. It's quite a difference. So that's the nice thing about using trigger to improve your drum sounds, because once you get that thing working for you and you've got a big library of drum samples that you can layer over top and use to blend in to your existing drum sound. So you don't have to completely replace it. In this case, these drums were not recorded properly, and I don't know about you, but I love a nice big drum sound, and Trigger 2 helps with that huge. So we're going to do a couple more videos on how you can use Trigger to help with the room mics, the toms, the floor tom, things like that. And we're going to turn this drum track into like one of the best drum tracks sounds that you want to get out of a really poorly recorded drum track. Now, don't get me wrong, the performance was really good, but it's just the way that it was recorded, unfortunately, doesn't do the performance enough justice. So now, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a subscriber. And you know what? Going forward, leave a comment for us below letting us know what you would like to see as a drum replacement tool. Maybe you use something else. I know Superior Drums has a drum replacement tool. Do you prefer using Superior Drummer 3 over top of Trigger 2 instead of Trigger 2 or vice versa? Let us know in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon about how we can improve the rest of this drum track. So if you're not already subscribed, click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified anytime that we put new videos up. So other than that, thanks for being here, and keep making music.